Hello, 5th graders. Welcome to lesson 1.10. Multiply 3-digit numbers. Let's get started. Today's objective is I can evaluate multiplication of multi-digit numbers by 3-digit numbers using the standard algorithm with 100% accuracy in multiple attempts. Pause now to write this in your digital math notebook. Today our goal is to be able to multiply by 3-digit numbers. We have some steps to do that. You don't need to write down the steps, just watch me do it. Our first step is just like when we multiply with a 2-digit number. We multiply by the ones place first. So we start with this 3, and we do 3 times 3 is 9. Then we go diagonal. 3 times 5 is 15, so I carry the 1 and put the 5. 3 times 1 is 3, plus the 1 we carried is 4. Next, we're going to do like when we multiply with a 2-digit number. We put a 0 in the ones place, and then here's our magic 0, then we continue multiplying. 4 times 3 is 12, there's my 2. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 is 21. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. Now here's the tricky part. When we multiply by a 3-digit number, we put in a 0 in the ones place and in the tens place. So these are like 2 magic zeros before we start to multiply. Then we multiply by 2, starting all the way over to the diagonal. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 5 is 10, so I carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. And then we take all those numbers and add them together. Let's practice this together on the next page. You have a copy of these in your digital math notebook. I know it may be a little bit difficult to do this digitally, so feel free to write it down on a piece of paper and then go back and type your answers into your notebook. Let's go ahead and do these together. I'm going to start with this 1 times 5. 1 times 5 is 5. Then I go diagonal. 1 times 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 6 is 6. So I've multiplied everything by the 1. You can kind of think like, okay, I'm done with that. I'm going to switch to a new number as we multiply by the 5. Remember that 5 is really in the tens place, so it's a 50. So I'm going to start by adding a magic 0 before I multiply everything by the 5. I'm going to start all the way over to the right and multiply 5 times 5. That's 25. Then I go straight up. 5 times 1 is 5, but I have a 2 that I carried, so that's 7. Then I go 5 times 6. 5 times 6 is 30. Okay, we're done with that number. I'm going to switch to another new color. Now this 3 is in the hundreds place, and hundreds places have 2 zeros. So I get 2 magic zeros in this row before I multiply by the rest of my numbers, starting all the way to the right. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 1 is 3, plus the 1 I carried is 4. 3 times 6 is 18. So we have 3 rows of numbers, but we do the same steps that we do when we only have 2 rows of numbers. Our last step is to add them together. 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. 5 plus 6 plus 7 is 18. So 8, carry the 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. 3 plus 8 is 11. So we carry the 1. And 1 plus 1 is 2. Then our last step is we can go in and put in our commas. So this number would be 215,865. You can go ahead and type these rows of numbers into your digital math notebook. Let's try this again with our next problem. First off, we're going to multiply everything by the 9. 9 times 1 is 9. Then we go diagonal. 8 times 9 is 72. 8 times 9 again is 72 plus 7. So 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. So that would be 79. Now, as we go on to our next row, we're going to start with a magic 0 because that 9 is in the tens place. So we need a magic 0. 9 times 1 is 9. We're doing this way. 9 times 8 is 72. So here's a new 7 and 2. 9 times 8 is 72 plus 7 again was 79. Time for our last row. Remember that the 5 is in the hundreds place, so it gets 2 magic zeros because there's 2 zeros in 100. And then we multiply everything by the 5, starting to the right. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 8 is 40, so I'm going to carry a 4 this time. 5 times 8 is 40 again, but we had this 4, so that's 44. And then I add all of these numbers together. 9 plus 0 plus 0. 9 plus 2 is 11. 9 plus 5 is 14. 15, 16, 17. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus the 7 is 17 again. 4 plus 1 is 8, and 7 is 12. And 4 plus 1 is 5. We can add our comma. This number is 527,719. Sometimes when we see all these numbers for multiplying, it looks a little scary, but we follow all the same steps and we do a great job. Again, it might be difficult to show all your work in your digital math notebook, but you can type in the rows of numbers to show your work. All right, here's our lesson activity. First off, we're going to estimate to see if we can get a close number. We will round to the hundreds place. 276 is close to 300, and 145 is closer to 100. So 3 times 1 is 3, and then it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So our answer is going to be about 30,000. I'll go ahead and help get you started on this problem. We're going to start with the 5 first. 6 times 5 is 30. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 3 is 38. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. The next thing we need is a magic 0. And then we're going to multiply by 4. 6 times 4 is 24. 4 times 7 is 28, plus the 2 we carried is 30. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. And now I'm going to start you on this last row and let you finish. The 1 is in the hundreds place, so we need 2 magic zeros before we multiply everything by 1. Go ahead and finish out this problem. Type your answer in your digital math notebook, and you're almost finished. Great job, 5th graders. When you're finished with this video, complete your exit slip. See you at the teacher table.